Dear students, in today's class we are going to talk about real symmetric matrices. Now you already know what a symmetric matrix is. Now what do you mean by real symmetric matrices? Symmetric matrices whose entries are real numbers is called as real symmetric matrix. Today we are going to show that this real symmetric matrix has a real eigenvalue. I mean, take the eigenvalues of real symmetric matrix and it is going to be real. Or in other words, you can say that all the eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix are real. So chalo, let us move towards the proof. So here, as you can see, actually we have to prove two things in this theorem. A is given to be a real symmetric matrix of order n, and we have to show that eigenvalues of A are real. This is the first part. And in the second part, if lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda k are distinct eigenvalues of A, then we have to show that the eigenvectors corresponding to this distinct eigenvalues forms an orthogonal set. So first of all, let us prove that eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix are real. Real in the sense purely real. They cannot be complex numbers. Now, in order to prove it, we will need some prerequisites which I have written here. First of all, we will need the definition of conjugate transpose. Okay, so the conjugate transpose, now you already know what is transpose of a matrix. Now conjugate transpose is a little bit different concept. A slight difference is that conjugate transpose is denoted by a raised to theta. Our usual transpose we denote it by a raised to t, and the conjugate transpose is defined as a raised to theta is equal to a conjugate its transpose. Let me give a simple example, then it will be clear. Suppose this is your matrix, a 2 by 2 matrix, let us say A, then what will be my A conjugate transpose? So simply, or you can say conjugate transpose. What will be my conjugate transpose? Simply find conjugate of it first of all. So A conjugate will be minus I, 1, 2, 1 minus I, and now take transpose of it. So our A raised to theta will be what? So our A raised to theta you can say, or conjugate transpose will be minus I, 1 and 2, 1 minus I. So this is how the conjugate transpose is defined. Again, we will need few properties like AB raised to theta is equal to B raised to theta, A raised to theta, or you can say conjugate transpose of AB is equal to conjugate transpose of B multiplied by conjugate transpose of A. Next, conjugate transpose of lambda A is equal to lambda bar. Now what do you mean by lambda bar? Yeah, it is complex conjugate of lambda, okay, and multiplied by conjugate transpose of A. I mean, whenever you are having a scalar multiplied by a matrix, and if you take conjugate transpose of that, and if you bring the scalar out, then it simply becomes the complex conjugate of that scalar. So now the question is how to show eigenvalues of real symmetric matrix is a real number. So over here I have started with a real symmetric matrix of order n, and we have to show that all the eigenvalues of A are real. So let us pick one arbitrary eigenvalue of A. So I will say let lambda be an eigenvalue of A. Now I will show that this lambda is a real number. Now since I have said lambda is an eigenvalue of A, so according to the definition of eigenvalue, what will happen is there will exist some x non-zero belonging to R raised to n such that Ax is equal to lambda x. This is simply the definition of eigenvalue and eigenvector which we have seen. Now in order to show lambda is purely real, now what is the concept of purely real? If z is equal to x plus I by is our complex number, and if the imaginary part is equal to 0, then we say that our z is a purely real number, and that is what exactly we have to show here. So we have to show that this lambda is a purely real number. Now when this z will be purely real, let us try to understand it. Now what will be my conjugate of z, it will be x minus iy, right? Now let us say if z is equal to z bar, what it will imply, x plus iy is equal to x minus iy, and what it will imply, this x and x will get cancelled out, I and I in fact will get cancelled out, and if you shift this minus y on the left hand side, it will be 2y is equal to 0, and this will imply y is equal to 0. Remember, I have started with z is equal to z bar, and I have proved that y is equal to 0. Now let us say if y is equal to 0, then what will happen? If y is equal to, then z will be equal to x, okay, and what will be my z bar? It will be x only, because it doesn't have any imaginary part, and this implies z is equal to z bar. In other words, we have proved that z is equal to z bar if and only if z is purely a real number. I think this result you might have seen somewhere before. So in order to prove lambda is a purely real number, we have to show that lambda is equal to lambda bar. That is our subclaim, you can say. Now what do we have is ax is equal to lambda x. So what I will simply do is, I will simply take conjugate transpose on both sides. So if I take conjugate transpose on both sides, what I will get? Conjugate transpose of ax will be equal to conjugate transpose of lambda x, and this will imply conjugate transpose of x multiplied by conjugate transpose of a will be equal to lambda bar conjugate transpose of x. Now what is conjugate transpose of a? It is a conjugate transpose, right, which is equal to this, and if we solve it, then what will happen? Now what will be a conjugate? Now since we have said that a is a real matrix, I mean all the entries of the matrix are real, so your a conjugate is directly going to be equal to a. So this will imply that conjugate transpose of x, this will be simply a transpose will be equal to lambda bar x raised to theta, let us say. Now a transpose will be a, because a is a symmetric matrix, so a transpose will be a, so simply a is equal to lambda bar x raised to theta. Now note that we do have the value of ax here, so I have to use it, but you can see that I don't have x over here. So what is our choice? So simply I will post multiply by what? X. So if I post multiply by x, then I will have ax there, and that will allow me to use the value of ax as lambda x. So after post multiplying by x, this will imply x raised to theta ax will be equal to lambda bar x raised to theta x, but ax is lambda x, so this implies x raised to theta lambda x will be equal to lambda bar x raised to theta x. Now bringing everything to the left hand side, this will imply x raised to theta. Now lambda is a real number, so position of that can be changed, so x raised to theta x will be equal to lambda bar x raised to theta x. Now let us bring it to the left hand side, so lambda x raised to theta x minus lambda bar x raised to theta x will be equal to 0. And what it will imply? Now this x raised to theta x can be taken out, so lambda x raised to theta lambda minus lambda bar x raised to theta x will be equal to 0. Yeah, but you know what? X raised to theta x is going to be what? A non-zero quantity, because our eigenvector is non-zero, and this will imply lambda minus lambda bar is equal to 0, and this will imply lambda is equal to lambda bar, and therefore lambda is a real number. And that is exactly what we wanted to prove, as you can see here. Thus we have shown that eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix are always real. Now let us move towards the next part of the theorem, that is proving nothing but the eigenvectors corresponding to distinct eigenvalues of a real symmetric matrix form an orthogonal set. So here is that statement that we have to prove. So what we will do is, we will start with lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda k as distinct eigenvalues of A. Remember, they are distinct, and the corresponding eigenvector as x1, x2 up to xk, and we will show that this set of the eigenvectors corresponding to the distinct eigenvalues is orthogonal set. Now the question is, what do you mean by orthogonal set? Chalo, let us recall that first and then we will move towards the proof. Yeah. So as discussed earlier, suppose we are having the set x1, x2 up to xk. Then this set will be orthogonal set if inner product of any two distinct vectors in this set is equal to what? 0. I mean inner product of xi with xj should be equal to 0 for I not equal to j. If this is happening, then we will say that this set is an orthogonal set. But over here we are going to define the specific inner product which we have already seen before and we are familiar with, that is nothing but the dot product. And let me show you how we are going to define it and what is the notation that we are going to use here. So let us take an example of column vectors in R3. Suppose I have x1 to be 1 0 0 and x2 to be 1 minus 1 0. So over here their inner product is defined like this. Since it is a dot product, so x1 transpose x2. So in general, the inner product that we are going to use here is x transpose y. Okay, so whatever the first vector is there, I am going to take transpose of that and multiply it by y. Why do this? Let me show you. Now what will be my x1 transpose? It will be 1 1 0 and my x2 will be as it is, that is 1 minus 1 0. Now you can see that it is simply the matrix multiplication. This is a matrix of order 1 by 3. This is a matrix of order 3 by 1, and if you take the multiplication, then you will get a real number. And in this case it will be 1, right? 1 plus 1 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 1 and plus 0, that is nothing but 0. And this implies that this x1 and x2 actually are orthogonal, right? But what do you mean by orthogonal set? Such a property should be satisfied by any two distinct vectors of this set. Then we will say that this set is a orthogonal set. Now let us move towards the proof. So initially I will say let lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda k be distinct eigenvalues of A, and let this be corresponding eigenvectors, and this is just the given thing. Okay. Now our claim is to prove this set is orthogonal set. It means that the inner product of any two distinct vectors from this set is equal to 0. So I will start with xi and xj as any two vectors from this set, and my claim is to prove their inner product is 0. So xi xj is equal to 0. That is what I have to show. But see, how is the inner product defined? So in other words, what I have to show, xi transpose xj is equal to 0. So how we are going to proceed is, now since this xi and xj are actually the elements from this set, but that elements are actually nothing but what? The eigenvectors. Since they are the eigenvectors corresponding to these eigenvalues, according to the definition of eigenvalues and eigenvectors, they are going to satisfy certain condition. And what is that? Axi will be equal to lambda I xi and Axj will be equal to lambda j xj. Now let us move towards our idea of proving this theorem. So I will consider this, either you can consider this or this, choice is yours. So I will start with this and simply I will take transpose on both sides. So if I take transpose on both sides here, what I will get? So I will get Axi transpose will be equal to lambda I xi transpose. Now this is not the conjugate transpose, it is just the usual transpose. So Axi transpose will be xi transpose A transpose, and this will be lambda I xi transpose. Note, I am not having lambda I transpose here, sorry, lambda I bar here, because it is a usual transpose and not the conjugate transpose as discussed earlier. Now, what is A transpose? Since it is a symmetric matrix, this A transpose is A. So we have xi transpose A is equal to lambda I xi transpose. Now, what to do ahead? So actually we have to prove xi transpose xj is equal to 0. So in order to bring that xj in picture, you can see that in this equation there is no xj involved. So I have to bring that xj in picture, and the other fact is I have to utilize this equation as well. We have already used this, now I have to use this. So in order to use it, I want a xj in picture. So what I will do is I will post multiply this equation by xj. So if we post multiply by xj, what I will get? Xi transpose A will be equal to lambda I. No, what is left? Yeah, xj is equal to lambda I xi transpose xj. But what will be axj? So axj is already lambda j xj as written here. So therefore this will be xi transpose lambda j xj will be equal to lambda I xi transpose xj. Now since this lambda j is a real number, its position can be shifted to anywhere. So just I will bring it to the left hand side. So lambda j xi transpose xj will be equal to lambda I xi transpose xj. Now shifting everything to the left hand side, what I will get here? Lambda j minus lambda I inside the bracket xi transpose xj is equal to 0. So just I have taken this xi transpose xj to be common. Now how to move ahead? So we have already arrived till xi transpose xj, and we have to show that the value of this is equal to 0. So what is the reason for that? As I told you earlier that all the eigenvalues are distinct. So since lambda I is not equal to lambda j, so we can divide this entire equation by lambda I minus lambda j, or you can say lambda j minus lambda I, and thus we will get this xi transpose xj to be equal to 0, and therefore this xi and xj are orthogonal, right? And remember, I started with any two arbitrary vectors from this set, and we have shown that two vectors are orthogonal, and thus we can conclude that this set is a orthogonal set, and that is what we wanted to prove. So that's all for today's theorem and today's lecture. Thank you.